So that last video just left off with the end of example 2 and showing the check. So I just want to continue on and do example 3. Example 3 is a little longer. So we have 1 over r minus 2 plus 1 over r squared minus 7r plus 10, and that's equal to 6 over r minus 2. So what I see right here is something that I can factor, so then I can identify if it has an r minus 2 or if it's missing that piece, and I have to add that into my denominator. Because again, I have addition here, so I'm going to choose to find that least common denominator and then set the numerators equal to each other once I have that. So numbers that multiply to get me a positive 10 but will add to get me a negative 7. So they both have to be negative because they multiply to a positive but add to a negative number. And so factors of 10 that are going to do that would be 2 and 5. So they're both actually going to be negative. Negative 2 plus negative 5 is a negative 7. Negative 2 times negative 5 is a positive 10. So now let's identify that least common denominator. So here I have an r minus 2, which means that has to be in the denominator, but does everybody have an r minus 2? R minus 2 here and r minus 2. So that's part of my denominator, but I just don't need to add that anywhere. Now here I have an r minus 5, so that has to be part of my least common denominator, but as we can see here and here, they're missing that r minus 5, so we just have to multiply by r minus 5 on the top and the bottom, so that way we can create that least common denominator, and we're just multiplying by that here. Because again, r minus 5 over r minus 5 is the same as a 1, and multiplying by 1 doesn't change anything. So that's why we get to do this. So then we have r minus 5. I'm just going to write these in this order, because we still have an r minus 2 times r minus 5 plus 1 over r minus 2 r minus 5. And that is equal to 6 times r minus 5 over r minus 2 times r minus 5. So now I have the same denominator everywhere. So since this is an equal sign and these are all already equal, that means that these also have to be equal. So I am just, first I'm going to actually combine these together. So r minus 5 plus 1 is actually going to be an r minus 4 over r minus 2, r minus 5. And that's equal to, multiply this out, 6r minus 30 So now I get to just set my numerators equal and finish solving for r. So r minus 4 equals 6r minus 30. So I'm going to subtract r. And then I'm going to add 30. So add 30 to both sides. So that's going to get me a 26 equals 5r. So then when I divide by 5, r is going to be 26 over 5. And so we always want to check these answers even if they are messy fractions. So go back up to your original problem and plug in 26 over 5. So you get 1 over 26 over 5. And this minus 2, I'm going to make a common denominator with 5. So minus 10 over 5 plus 1 over, we're going to have that 26 over 5 squared minus 7 times 26 over 5 plus 10. Getting a little squished. And then that's going to be equal to that 6 over, and then the bottom is also r minus 2. So 26 over 5, turn that minus 2 into that 10 over 5. Sorry, it's so small. So then 26 over 5 minus 10 over 5 is going to get me a 16 over 5 in that denominator, plus 1 over 26 over 5, when that is squared, gets you 26 squared is 626. 5 squared is 25. And then 7 times 26 is 182 over 5. And then I want to turn 10. Let's first, because we're going to end up needing to have a denominator of 25 to put all of these together. So let's make that a denominator of 25. So 250 over 25. And so over here we have that 26 over 5 minus 10 over 5 again, so that's that 16 over 5 in that denominator. So as always, instead of dividing by a fraction, we want to multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply instead by 5 over 16, but 1 times 5 over 16 is going to get us 5 over 16. And now the only thing we really need to do is change this. So multiply by 5 on the top and the bottom, and then we can put all of that together. So that's going to be minus 910 over 25, 910, and then plus 250. So again, over here, instead of dividing by 16 over 5, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So what we get down here when we put all this together is a 16 over 25. 626 minus 910 plus 250. And then this gets us 6 times 5 is 30 over 16. So again, here, instead of dividing by 16 over 25, we'll multiply by the reciprocal. So multiply by 25 over 16, but 1 times 25 over 16 would just be 25 over 16. So then add 5 and 25 together, and we do end up getting 30 over 16 equals 30 over 16. So as messy as this is, we still get to see that we got our answer right, and it's 26 over 5. So these are your 3 practice questions that I want you to try, and your answer key will be available to you. Thank you so much.